I've been thinking a lot about validation and how it correlates so much to our self-esteem. And for me, I've been someone who's always sought out validation. External validation was everything for me. And everything I did was because I was seeking validation. And I'm a projector in human design. I highly suggest learning about your human design type, which is your energy type and how your energy interacts with the world, to help you better understand why you have the emotions that you have. For example, for projectors, they just want to be recognized, and a form of recognition is validation. So for me, when I feel recognized, I feel empowered, I feel worthy, I feel seen, I feel heard. And it's a really, really big part of my design as a projector. So it made a lot of sense that I was always seeking validation because that was the way I was going to feel recognized by people. And so growing up as a kid, I never got recognized. As an adult, in the entire years that I've been alive, I've never felt recognized by my parents, seen or heard by them. And so naturally, I grew up with really low self-esteem, not feeling seen, not feeling heard, not feeling like I mattered, not feeling like I was important. And so I had a really poor self-image and poor self-perception of myself because I didn't think I existed. I didn't think I mattered. I just felt invisible. So growing up, when I started to do this work, I realized so much of the reason why I was doing it, putting these videos out, sharing this content, was because I was seeking for recognition, validation. Hey, somebody out there, please tell me that I'm good at what I do so I can feel good about what I do. It was kind of this vicious cycle that I was in, but it was only just me trying to aid and heal my own low self-esteem. And it got me thinking a lot about this whole idea of external validation, which is needing something to prove to you that you are good or you're good enough. And then where is that fine line between of internal validation, which is I approve of myself, I tell myself I'm good and I'm good enough. And it's a really, really a play here, because when we're constantly seeking for things outside of us, especially people to tell us that we're good at what we do, we're good enough, that validation, that's where our sense of self-esteem lies. And then that's how we feel empowered or proud of ourselves. But taking that responsibility back and making it your job and telling yourself that you're good and what you did is good enough is the way you validate yourself. So I was looking at some articles that were talking about ways to improve our self-esteem. And it really, really inspired me to kind of come up with my own game plan, per se, to work on my self-esteem. And I have been working on this for years, but what you know about following me on my channel is you know that the core component of my work is to help you have a better relationship with yourself that is loving, that is empowered, that is aligned, so you can really know the truth of who you really are and stop being a version of yourself that you've learned from people, learned from society, learned from circumstances, learned from the things that you've gone through, and stop living as this learned version of yourself and really reclaim your true self and your true identity and really be empowered and proud of that. That is a core component of my work. Naturally, self-esteem fits perfectly into that. So I want to share some ways that we can start to raise our self-esteem. If you have my Planting Seeds guide, it's linked below in the treasure chest. The Planting Seeds guide, which is basically divided into 5 components. And one of those components is this self-love, self-recognition piece, where you literally recognize and celebrate yourself for the things that you appreciate, admire, and love about yourself. And you have to write this down every single day, 3 different things. And I've been doing this consistently for the past year. And it's made me realize that this is one way I can start to boost my self-esteem, is to really recognize myself in the way that I'm hoping that somebody else will recognize me. And so self-recognition, and literally just taking an inventory and just be like, what do I want to recognize myself? What do I appreciate myself for? What do I admire in myself? Or what do I love about myself? I think that's a really good way to start to turn the wheel from external validation to internal validation. Number 3 is words of affirmation. Number 2 is give yourself words of affirmation. Like tell yourself, I'm proud of you, or you did a good job on this, or, you know, I love the way you showed up, blah, blah, blah. Like really just acknowledge and recognize yourself and affirm to yourself positive things, because that's going to help you, again, boost your self-esteem and boost your self-perception. The third thing I really think is really vital is create or schedule in time to spend with yourself. Like go on a date with yourself, like scheduling time to do the things that you enjoy. If that's going to the bookstore and browsing the books, or going to your favorite coffee shop with a book, but like schedule in time that's like a date with yourself to really be like, I'm important to show up for myself too. And that's going to really help you boost your self-esteem too, because you're not waiting for someone to invite you to then you go enjoy the things that you enjoy doing. Another thing that comes to my mind about self-esteem is really being kind and patient and compassionate with yourself. I think it's so important to have your own back and tell yourself things like, it's okay, I'm here for you, and not really belittle or berate yourself when you do something wrong or something doesn't go right. I think it's so important to have compassion. Like just like we extend compassion to other people, self-compassion is a huge part of raising our self-esteem, because it really helps us feel like you see yourself, you hear yourself, you acknowledge what you're going through, you acknowledge what you're feeling, and you are not discrediting it, and you're not telling yourself to just get over it or push past it, or that how you're feeling is insignificant. So I really think acknowledging yourself through compassion and telling yourself like, it's okay, you did the best you could, or what can I learn from this, or just having your own back and raising your own spirits. I think so much of the reason why we struggle with low self-esteem is because we let other people dictate our self-image, our self-perception, and our self-identity. And we let the things that we've gone through define us, and we've come to conclusions that really affect our perception of ourselves. So I really, really firmly believe that low self-esteem is 100% correlated to our self-perception. And our self-perception can only change within when we start seeing ourselves as someone who's lovable, worthy, deserving, confident, secure, you know, however it is that you want to feel and think about yourself. It is your responsibility to start perceiving yourself in that way, rather than waiting for the validation or approval from other people to start really affirming or seeing and feeling the way you really want to feel about yourself. So I feel like those were a few ways that we can all collectively work on our self-esteem. I think the most important thing is just be gentle with yourself and really, really talk to yourself like you would talk to your best friend or someone you loved. Like extend that level of love and compassion to yourself as well, because you're worthy, you're deserving of it, and you're just as you need it just as much anybody else does. Those are some things for you to start thinking about. And if you have ways that you help boost your self-esteem, then leave those in the comments below so we can start to all get ideas of more things we can do that help elevate and have higher self-esteem. Wherever you are in the world, beloved, have a beautiful day. I'm sending you so much love. You matter, you're important, you're valuable, you're significant. And I deeply recognize you, and I deeply see you. Thank you for being here, and I'm sending you so much love. And remember to stay open and keep that heart of yours open to yourself. Okay? Keep your heart open.